Well, what we've seen is really a continuation of Israeli tactics that it's used in past military assaults on the Gaza Strip, which includes targeting civilian areas and targeting ambulances as well as healthcare centers. I think it's very clear for everyone who's looking at this that this isn't about retaliation against Hamas. What's in place now is a much broader program that's focused on ethnic cleansing. We saw in the first few days of the assault that began about 5 days ago now, there was discussion about a security corridor or humanitarian corridor that would allow Palestinians to get out of the Gaza Strip into Egypt. Palestinians understand what that corridor means. This isn't about humanitarianism. This is about ethnic cleansing and the depopulation of the Gaza Strip. And so rightly, a lot of Palestinians are worried about mass displacement, which has already affected more than 1 million Palestinians in the Gaza Strip.
We are
and what
also,
we're witnessing is...
Tariq, hearing those concerns from the Egyptian and Jordanian governments as well. I just want to pick up on a word you used there, cleansing. Israel has said that it won't stop until Hamas is completely removed. And Hamas is not only an armed group, right? It's also regarded by many as a social movement of sorts. Can you remove Hamas from the Gaza Strip?
Well, I think that's exactly the question that we need to be asking. I think the idea that Hamas can be destroyed or removed is nonsensical. Not only is the movement, as you say, not only a military organization, but also a movement that provides social services, healthcare, education, charitable work to Palestinians in Gaza and beyond Gaza. But it's also an ideology. Hamas's ideology is one that's committed to resistance to liberate Palestine. So this idea that Israel is an apartheid regime and employs colonial violence against Palestinians and that it can continue to do that with impunity is one that Hamas's political project and military project opposes. And if Hamas in this imaginary world where Hamas is decimated and destroyed, that ideology of Palestinian liberation, of pushing back against Israeli apartheid, will continue in a different guise. So this idea that they're trying to kill Hamas is really a way of saying we don't want to deal with Palestinians. We want to decimate the Palestinian political project and forgo any need to deal with the Palestinian political demands, which are rights under inalienable rights under international law, including the right of return.
Well, Israel has not been drawing a distinction between the Palestinian residents of Gaza and Hamas. How much popular support does Hamas have now, Tariq? And what is its relationship like with the Palestinian leadership at this stage?
Well, I think it's important to remember that Hamas was a party that was democratically elected in 2006. So there's obviously a lot of support for Hamas's political project among Palestinians. Some of that support comes from a place of ideology. So Palestinians identify with Hamas's ideological platform. But Hamas also gets a lot of support from Palestinians for its military project. As a military power, Hamas is able to deter Israeli aggression and be the front line of defense for Palestinians who are otherwise defenseless when they're facing colonial violence. And so Hamas in this way is seen to be an important deterrent for Palestinians and one that can protect Palestinian civilians. Now, obviously, the Palestinian Liberation Project is much bigger than Hamas. So Hamas doesn't speak on behalf of all Palestinians, but it is certainly a credible power. Now, the Palestinian Authority, as one of your correspondents was saying before, has its own baggage in the West Bank. It's engaged in security coordination tactics. And at a time of war, when Palestinians are being bombarded ceaselessly in the Gaza Strip, it's coming out to prevent protests in the West Bank in support of Palestinians. So that is something that is seen as illegitimate and many Palestinians oppose.
And we've seen a lot of anger and a lot of heightened tensions as a result of that. Tariq Boukoni there, the president of Al-Shabaka, an independent Palestinian think tank, and the author of the book Hamas Contained. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your thoughts on Al Jazeera, Tariq.
Thank you.